In this problem, we're asked to use the fact that the sine squared x plus cosine squared x equals 1 to prove that tangent squared x plus 1 equals secant squared x. So we're going to use what's called the Pythagorean identity, which is that the sine squared of any angle at all plus the cosine squared of the same angle is equal to 1. Now I'll show you two ways to prove this. The way to remember this is that if you take this original equation and divide every single term, all three of the terms, by cosine squared, so we have sine squared x over cosine squared, we have cosine squared x over cosine squared x, and 1 over cosine squared x. We haven't changed the equation at all because every side has been divided by cosine squared, and we've just distributed to both the terms on the left. But what this allows us to do is to notice that this is the same as sine squared x over cosine squared x, or sine x over cosine x squared. This is, second term becomes 1, and the other term is 1 over cosine of x squared. And sine x over cosine x is by definition the tangent. So we tangent squared x plus 1 equals the secant squared of x. So that's a good way to remember how to get from the Pythagorean identity to this identity in terms of tangent and secant. Alternatively, if we wanted to prove this identity or verify this identity directly, that is, starting with the left-hand side, showing that we can do a little algebra and reduce it to the right-hand side, we could also do that, because we could write tangent squared as being sine squared x over cosine squared x plus 1. To simplify the expression on the right, we can find a common denominator. So the fraction on the first fraction has a cosine squared in the denominator. If we're going to add that to 1, we also need a cosine squared in that denominator, so we multiply the top and the bottom by cosine squared. Now they have a common denominator. We can add the numerators together, all divided by the common denominator, and now Pythagorean identity comes back in. Sine squared x plus cosine squared x is 1 over cosine squared x, and 1 over cosine is secant, so this is the same thing as secant squared x. So we verified this identity by starting with the left-hand side, working with some algebra rules and techniques, and verified that through some careful reduction, we get the secant squared, the right-hand side.